On the map, the Serengeti is just a yellow-green stain in northern Tanzania. But when you zoom in, a whole world appears. A honey badger ripping into tiny burrows. African wild dogs running in tight formation as if following an invisible playbook. Long lines of wildebeest pushing across the Mara River while the shadow of a crocodile twists below. And a lion resting on a dusty rise, just watching. Each species has its own way to stay alive. If you had to choose one smartest player in this survival game, which one would it be? When you pull back from that first question and look at the plains as a whole, you see a strip of life that runs from the Serengeti in northern Tanzania to the Masai Mara in southwest Kenya, stitched together by the muddy line of the Mara River. On a map, they're just names and colors. Down in the grass and in the riverbed, they're relationships that have been tested for millions of years. Along the ragged edge of the grassland, where thorn bushes grow low and the soil cracks in the heat, the honey badger appears. It isn't big. An adult weighs around 10 to 14 kilograms, about the size of a medium dog. Across its back runs a pale gray or white band over a black body, a moving warning sign that most of the savannah has learned not to ignore. Its skin is thick and unusually loose, so loose that when something bites down, the honey badger can twist inside its own hide and turn around to bite back. Its menu is flexible: insects, small rodents, bird eggs, lizards, and sometimes even venomous snakes. Observations in the wild suggest that a honey badger can take a serious dose of venom, collapse for a while, then wake up and go back to feeding. In ecological terms, it's a specialist at unlocking food sources that most other animals don't touch. Every so often, the honey badger wanders straight into lion or hyena territory. On paper, it looks like an easy target. In reality, many predators have learned that a wound from this little creature can mean days of pain and failed hunts. When a lioness tries to close in, the honey badger doesn't sprint away. It arches its back, bares its teeth and growls, ready to charge forward instead of retreating. In that moment, both sides are doing fast math. For the lion, is a small, foul-tempered meal worth the risk of infection and hunger later? Out here, survival isn't always about being the strongest. Sometimes, it's about being the one that simply isn't worth the trouble. If you were standing on that plain yourself, would you go after the difficult opponent, or walk away and look for easier meat? Farther north, across an invisible border into the Masai Mara, the language of hunting changes from solo to team play. This is the domain of the African wild dog. Each animal stands roughly knee-high to an adult human, with a slim frame, oversized rounded ears, and a patchwork coat that looks like natural camouflage. Their real power, though, is not in a single bite. It's in the way the whole pack moves. A pack can hold dozens of dogs, moving as if they share one mind. They call to each other constantly, swap leaders, rotate positions so no one tires too quickly. In many studies, African wild dogs show some of the highest hunting success rates of any large carnivore in Africa. The prey they select is often not the strongest animal in the herd. They watch for the old, the injured, the very young that has slipped behind. It looks brutal, and for the individual prey it is. But by removing weak animals, the dogs help keep herds of antelope, zebras, and wildebeest overall healthier. In that sense, the hunters that we label cruel are also doing some of the quiet work of keeping the grasslands in order. When you see a calf cut off from its mother, instinct says, this is wrong. But if you skip forward a few rainy seasons, the animals that remain are tougher, better able to survive drought, disease, and long migrations. Do you call the wild dog a destroyer, or a doctor without a degree? Follow the tracks of the dogs, and you eventually reach the bank of the Mara. This river runs off the Kenyan highlands into Tanzania, carving a dark brown wound through the golden plains. Each year, hundreds of thousands, sometimes over 1 million wildebeest join the Great Migration, along with zebras and Thompson's gazelles, chasing new grass where the rain has fallen. Fresh food is almost always on the far side. To reach it, they must cross fast-moving water and something else that waits just below the surface. The Nile crocodiles here can reach 5 or even 6 meters in length and weigh several hundred kilograms. They don't sprint after prey over long distances. Their strategy is long-term investment, lie still for hours or days, spending almost no energy, just to strike once at the right moment. When that moment comes, the snap of their jaws is so fast the eye can barely follow. The force of a crocodile's bite is among the strongest of any living animal, yet the muscles that open the jaw are relatively weak. That's why a strong rope can hold a crocodile's mouth shut, but almost nothing can free you once it is clamped down. Not every attack works. Many wildebeest make it through, leaping over the worst currents or kicking free in panic. But the ones that are pulled under become fuel, not only for the crocodiles, but for fish, for scavenging birds, and for countless tiny decomposers that turn flesh and bone back into nutrients. Those nutrients, months later, can reappear as a flush of green grass in some distant valley. The image of an animal disappearing in a burst of white water is hard to watch. Look wider, though, and you see a closed loop that we almost never think about when we're staring at a beautiful slow-motion shot. Not far from the river, on a low ridge of dry earth, the lions are watching. Unlike most other big cats, lions are true social animals. A typical pride in the Serengeti Masai Mara system might include several related females, their cubs, and 1 or 2 adult males defending the territory. The females carry much of the hunting burden. Working together, they can bring down prey several times heavier than any one of them: Cape buffalo, zebras, even young giraffes. Even so, life at the top of the food chain is not easy. Hunt success rates for lions are often lower than people expect, sometimes only a handful of successful hunts among dozens of attempts. Lion cubs are even more fragile. In some long-term studies, a large share of cubs never reach adulthood because of hunger, disease, rival predators, or simple accidents. When the pride has to cross a stream, or a shallow stretch of river, the cubs paddle after their mothers, shivering and wide-eyed, with no idea what lurks beneath the surface. They only know to follow the moving patch of yellow fur in front of them. Every step a lioness takes in that water is a strategic choice. Move quickly to reduce the chance of crocodiles, but not so quickly that the smallest cubs are left behind. Seen through the lens of behavior, a pattern emerges. The honey badger leans on tough skin and reckless confidence. The wild dog leans on speed and teamwork. The crocodile leans on ambush and patience. The lion leans on group strength and hard-earned experience passed from one generation to the next. Each species has chosen a different path to stay alive, but all are bound by the same rules of energy, risk, and opportunity. Now imagine erasing one of these players from the picture. No wild dogs culling the weak, no crocodiles limiting how many animals make it across the river, no lions holding buffalo and zebra numbers down. The system wouldn't collapse overnight. But slowly, the fine-tuned balances would start to slip. Herbivore numbers could surge, stripping the grass bare. Disease could spread more easily through overcrowded herds, soil might erode faster, rivers could run quieter and emptier. The images we take for granted today would turn into something you only see in old footage. As humans, we carry an advantage that no animal on these plains has, the ability to see the big picture, to link cause and effect, to imagine futures before they happen. That advantage comes with a cost. When you put your phone down or close your laptop, it's easy to forget the honey badger under the thorn bush, the wild dogs in the Mara, or the crocodile under the brown water. But every choice we make, to clear or protect a forest, to tolerate or fight poaching, to demand or ignore sustainable tourism, casts a vote on how long these scenes will continue to exist. In a world where predators and prey have held a fragile balance for millions of years, the last question isn't really for them at all, it's for us. If one day you returned to the Serengeti and there were no pounding hooves, no spray of water at the river crossings, would you call that the progress of our species, or the greatest loss we ever chose to accept? Under the bright midday sun on the Masai Mara grasslands in Kenya, an African porcupine stands still on the bank of the Talak River, its back covered in black and white quills fanned out like a cloak. It only seems like a root eater, waddling, slow, no speed, no fangs. Yet a single touch of those hollow quills can leave a predator with deep, stubborn wounds. How did a creature that looks this clumsy end up on the do not try list for experienced lions and leopards? At high noon in the Masai Mara of Kenya, the grasslands fall briefly quiet after several herds of antelope have swept through. An African porcupine climbs out of an old aardvark burrow and steps silently onto an open patch of ground beside the Talak River. Its body is round, its legs short, its back covered in black and white quills as hard as needles, fanning slightly with every breath. It digs for roots and gnaws on a dry bone to top up its calcium, the crunching sound ticking steadily under the sun. Few would guess that this waddling creature in broad daylight belongs to one of Africa's largest rodents, weighs about as much as a dog, and usually spends the day hidden underground, coming out only when the heat softens or after dark. A hot gust sweeps across the grass, carrying the scent of fur and dust. Among the old tracks pressed into the red earth, a new print appears, deeper and broader, the footprint of a big cat that's just passed by. The camera skims low along the game trail, gliding past clumps of dried antelope droppings, then settles on the tawny shape of a lioness lying flat in the tall grass, eyes locked on the porcupine. For her, porcupine is an irregular item on the menu like zebra or impala, but that dark, slow-moving shape looks like an easy chance in the hunger of midday. The air seems to slow for a beat. Only the soft buzz of insects and the faint drip of water from a distant bend of the taluk remain. The porcupine keeps its head down, but its back begins to arch higher, not from fear, but as an automatic response when it feels something moving in the air. Its hearing is far better than its clumsy frame suggests. Small ears tuned to low, heavy sounds, like weighted footsteps on the ground. It pauses for half a second, tests the scent, then changes course, shuffling out into a more open patch where it can swing its back around with ease. This is when its armor truly comes into play. The rustle of grass behind it announces the moment of impact. The lioness presses herself even lower. Each padded step lands without a clear sound, only a slight shiver through the dry stems. When the distance is right, she explodes forward, her dark gold body launching like an arrow. The camera freezes the instant the porcupine whirls around, its back and rump erupting into a forest of black and white quills, standing upright like a steel brush. Its tail vibrates hard, hollow quills knocking together with a dry rattle, like a warning shaker in the grass. Instead of bolting, the porcupine backs up in firm, deliberate steps, always keeping its back and rump aimed at the danger. It's a defensive strategy honed over millions of years of evolution, turn the entire body into a moving shield, constantly pushing the weapon side toward the attacker. The lioness comes in from the flank, trying to hook at the head, or the belly, the softer zones with fewer quills. But just as her claws reach in, the porcupine snaps backward with a powerful shove, driving the cluster of short, thick hip quills into her chest and front leg. At such close range, the loosely rooted quills pop free from the porcupine's skin and sink deep into the soft flesh on the other side. In close-up, each spine looks like a tiny spear of keratin, some with fine grooves and microscopic barbs at the tip that make them extremely hard to pull out. Contrary to the old shooting quills myth, porcupines don't fire them like arrows, they simply need to get close enough to hit. When the lioness recoils, her chest, shoulder, and one foreleg are bristling with black and white spikes, each one trembling with every pained growl. None of these wounds is instantly fatal on its own, but together they form a map of pain, especially in a hot, humid climate where infection is always waiting for an opening. Dazed, the lioness retreats toward the shade of an acacia thicket, limping as she goes, stopping to bite and lick at whatever quills she can reach. The roar that began as a challenge breaks into ragged, broken sounds, tangled with shallow, rapid breaths. Studies from East African reserves have documented big cats carrying porcupine quills in their bodies for weeks, even months, developing deep infections, wasting away, and sometimes dying. In the world of hunters, death doesn't always arrive with a slash of claws. Sometimes it begins with a single, tiny spine. The porcupine holds its ground for a few seconds, quills still raised, ears tilted toward the noise of the retreating predator. When the distance feels safe, it slowly lets the spines sink back down, its outline shrinking, until it once again looks like a messy black and white bundle of fur. A few shed quills lie scattered on the soil, the physical traces of the encounter, and will soon be replaced as new ones grow in. The porcupine lowers its head and returns to its routine, digging for roots, gnawing on bones, playing the nameless gardener of the savannah as it turns the soil and spreads seeds without anyone paying attention. Evening starts to fall over the Masai Mara. The slanting light makes the quills left on the ground shine like tiny shards of glass. In the distance, the limping, a silhouette of the lioness disappears behind a rise of grass, each step a reminder of today's wrong choice of prey. Perhaps next time she'll wait for antelope or zebra, lower risk targets, even if they demand longer, more draining chases. On a savanna where predators usually seem to control the story, sometimes a quiet coat of quills is enough to turn the whole plot around. As the frame slowly pulls back, the African porcupine becomes just a small black and white speck in a sea of golden grass. Lions and leopards are reduced to memories of missed pounces on this patch of plains. In a world where speed and muscle usually take center stage, one quiet question hangs over the fading sky. In the race for survival, is it really teeth and claws that matter most? Or the silent defenses strong enough to make even a king step back? The cheetah, slender, almost fragile, roams the Masai Mara in Kenya. It lacks the bulk of a lion. It lacks the crushing jaws of a leopard. Yet it carries a weapon no other predator can match: pure speed. How can such a delicate frame transform into the fastest land animal on Earth? At dawn on the Serengeti plains of northern Tanzania, the first light spreads across an endless ocean of golden grass. Mist lingers over the banks of the Grumeti River, where herds of Thompson's gazelles gather to drink. The scene looks calm, yet danger waits in silence. Hidden low in the grass, a slender shadow fixes its eyes on a target. The cheetah, the hunter of speed. Unlike lions that vanish into tall grass, or leopards that perch high in the acacia trees, the cheetah must gamble on open ground. Its body has been shaped by evolution into a weapon built for speed. A long, flexible spine like a spring, light bones, slim legs, a tail that works like a rudder, and an oversized chest to house powerful lungs and a racing heart. Every detail serves one purpose: acceleration. This is the fastest land animal on Earth, capable of breaking 100 kilometers an hour. Yet that burst lasts less than a minute. Beyond that, the body overheats and the engine fails. This female has been watching the gazelles since sunrise. She singles out a young one straying from its mother. Her chest rises, then explosion. In just 3 seconds, she reaches the velocity of a sports car at full throttle. Each stride covers 7 meters. Air rips past her body, legs strike the earth like drums. The gazelle veers left, then right. The cheetah's tail whips like a rudder, correcting each turn. Then, the strike, claws latch, a body crashes to the dust. In an instant, the chase is over, but triumph is fleeting. Her heart pounds over 200 beats a minute. Heat floods her muscles. She collapses beside the kill, gasping. And at that moment, the scavengers arrive. 3 hyenas lumber out from the riverbank, circling, laughing. Their strength and numbers overwhelm her. Within minutes, the gazelle is theirs. For the cheetah, speed wins the hunt, but rarely the meal. On these plains, half of all successful chases end in theft. Across the border, in Kenya's Masai Mara, a different story unfolds. 3 male cheetahs form a coalition, often brothers from the same litter. Unlike solitary females, they hunt together, turning weakness into strategy. Their target today, a strong adult gazelle. The chase erupts. One drives the herd, another cuts the angle, and the third delivers the final blow. Dust explodes, hooves scatter. Within seconds, victory. This time the meal belongs to them. Cooperation, rare among big cats, has tipped the balance. Back in the Serengeti, near the edge of the Ngorongoro Reserve, a mother cheetah walks with her 3 cubs, barely 8 weeks old. They tumble through the grass, still clueless about the hunt. For her, every step is survival and a lesson. She picks a smaller prey to demonstrate. Stalk, burst, strike. These moments will decide their future. Are brutal. Up to 70% of cubs die in their first year, taken by lions, hyenas, even eagles. Those who survive carry the legacy of speed. Yet speed is always a gamble. Near the Mara River one evening, another female makes the wrong choice, an adult gazelle too strong. The chase drags on beyond a minute. Her stride falters, her lungs scream, her body overheats. She stumbles, collapses, gasping in the dust. The limits of biology revealed, unmatched velocity, but no endurance. That is the price of extreme evolution. As the sun dips behind the acacias, the Serengeti turns crimson. This is the golden hour for cheetahs when lions are still hidden and hyenas have not yet gathered. They rarely hunt by night. Their eyes cannot pierce the darkness like true nocturnal hunters. Instead, they master timing, choosing the narrow window when the plains are theirs alone. The cheetah will never rule the savannah, but it remains essential. By taking the young, the weak, it keeps the herds healthy, the ecosystem in balance. Its fragile presence is proof that survival does not always belong to the strongest. Sometimes it belongs to the swiftest. In the fading light, a mother and her cubs vanish into the tall grass of the Serengeti. The wind swallows their tracks, and one question lingers. In a world ruled by power and dominance, Will speed alone be enough to secure their future? Deep in the jungles of Khao Yai, Thailand, a shadow slides silently across the forest floor. It is the king cobra, the longest venomous snake on Earth. Unlike its kin that hunt rats or frogs, this giant feeds on its own kind. A ruthless choice, yet one that crowns it as ruler of the reptile world. What secret lies behind this strange and dangerous appetite? In the rainforests of Kerala, India, the air is heavy with moisture. Cicadas buzz endlessly, hidden in the dense shadows. From a damp crevice, a giant slides into view, the king cobra. Its body, more than 4 meters long, glides across the forest floor, every movement deliberate and silent. The forked tongue flickers, tasting the air. Through the Jacobson's organ, each particle carries a message. For this hunter, scent is sight. Among massive roots, a young crate slithers. It moves slowly, unaware of what lurks nearby. The cobra rises, hood flaring. It strikes with the speed of a spear. One deep bite, then it retreats, waiting. The venom does the rest. Unlike pythons that crush their prey, the cobra conserves its strength. It waits as the victim trembles, then stills, a strategy perfected over millions of years. Rains flood Khao Yai forest in Thailand. The ground turns to mud. A large monitor lizard crawls through the dripping leaves. But just meters away, death waits. The lizard is powerful, armed with claws and sharp teeth. Yet a single bite from the cobra is enough. Its venom attacks the nervous system, paralyzing muscles, silencing the lungs. Within minutes, the struggle is over. But the king is not invincible. In the skies of Myanmar, the crested serpent eagle scans the canopy. Few predators dare to challenge a cobra of this size, yet from above, the attack is sudden and lethal. On the ground, another enemy waits, the mongoose. Small, fast, immune enough to survive a bite. These two adversaries, bird and mammal, are part of the eternal balance. Even a king must live with fear. In the rainforests of Borneo, another secret is revealed. A female king cobra coils around her nest. She has gathered leaves, building a mound, and guards it fiercely. Weeks will pass before the eggs hatch, and she will not leave. Among snakes, this devotion is rare. For her offspring, survival depends entirely on her watchful defense. Evolution has given the cobra not just power, but the instinct to protect its bloodline. Dusk falls over the red earth of Laos. The cobra's shadow stretches long across the forest floor. Tonight, it does not hunt. It moves slowly, fading into the darkness, leaving only silence in its wake. The jungle remembers its presence. Fear lingers, even after the serpent is gone. From Kerala to Khao Yai, from Myanmar to Borneo, the king cobra's story is one of power, danger, and survival. Apex predator, devoted parent, vulnerable prey, its life is a paradox. But the greatest threat does not come from eagle or mongoose. It comes from us. Roads cut through its forest, farms replace its hunting grounds, villages spread across its kingdom. The throne remains, but it trembles. And so, the question lingers in the humid night air. How much longer will the jungle echo with the silent passage of the king cobra? Where the Ganges River meets the Bay of Bengal, the Sundarbans stretch endlessly, an ocean of roots and mist. In the brackish water, something stirs. Two golden eyes rise above the surface, the Bengal tiger. It swims like a shadow, silent and unseen. Even when the forest sleeps, it hunts. Locals say here, the tiger doesn't just walk the land, it rules both water and fear. A giant cat that swims, stalks, and vanishes without a sound. What turned this creature into both legend and ghost of the mangrove world? Morning mist lifts slowly over the tropical forests of Asia. From the thicket, a Bengal tiger emerges. Sunlight brushes across its orange coat, every black stripe drawn like ink by nature's hand. It pauses, scenting the air, each step firm yet weightless. The tiger is the largest cat on Earth. A grown male can weigh over 250 kilograms and stretch nearly 3 meters from nose to tail. And yet it moves without a sound. Soft pads beneath its paws absorb every step, turning raw power into silence. After millions of years of evolution, the tiger has mastered the art of disappearance. Unlike lions, tigers live alone. Each one rules a vast territory, sometimes hundreds of square kilometers. They mark the borders with scent and claw marks on trees. Messages only another tiger can read. In this world, territory means life. In India's dry bamboo forests, tigers hunt spotted deer and wild boar. Across the grasslands of Nepal, they track buffalo. And in the frozen valleys of Siberia, the Amur tiger, the largest of all, faces bears in the snow. Wherever they live, the pattern never changes. Hide, approach, strike. A single leap can launch them 6 meters forward at over 50 kilometers per hour. In seconds, the forest falls silent again. But tigers are more than predators. They are guardians of balance. By keeping deer and boar numbers in check, they protect the forest from being eaten bare. Where tigers vanish, the jungle itself begins to fade. A mother tiger raises her cubs alone. She teaches them patience, stealth, and the rhythm of the forest. When grown, each must leave to find its own land, its own silence. Only about half will survive to adulthood. Yet each survivor carries the story of the species forward. Under the midday sun, a tiger cools itself in a stream. Unlike most cats, it loves water. It can swim for kilometers, powerful legs propelling it through the current. In the Sundarban's mangrove swamps, some hunt between tides where land and sea become one shifting world. No two tigers share the same pattern of stripes. Each is a fingerprint written on fur. Scientists now use hidden cameras to recognize individuals by those unique marks. And the images reveal hope, cubs returning to forests that had long been silent. Still, survival is never easy. As people push deeper into the wilderness, the tiger's realm shrinks. When forests fall, conflict grows. There are fewer than 4,000 left in the wild, a whisper of what once was. Yet across Asia, hope rises. In India, tiger numbers have nearly doubled in 15 years. In Nepal and Thailand, their roars echo again through restored forests. As the day fades, sunlight spills across the tall grass. A male tiger steps forward, its reflection rippling on still water. He pauses, gazing toward the forest, then moves on slow, powerful, eternal. He doesn't need to prove his strength. His very presence is proof of nature's power. Where there are tigers, there is life. And as long as that roar still rolls through the forests of Asia, nature still breathes with us. In the wide Hayden Valley of Yellowstone, the morning sun glints on silver-gray fur. A grizzly bear lowers its head, sniffing the wind, claws dragging across the soil. It's following the scent of a carcass, more than a mile away. This is not just brute force. The grizzly's sense of smell is 7 times sharper than a bloodhound's. It remembers rivers, seasons, and trails as if the land itself lives in its mind. A half-ton beast, yet precise, patient, and almost calculating. How can something built for raw power move with such quiet intelligence? A giant footprint sinks deep into the wet mud. Rainwater pools inside the impression, silent proof that something powerful just passed. At the edge of Yellowstone Valley, thunder rumbles in the distance. A shadow moves through the mist, each step weighing half a ton, yet silent as drifting wind. The grizzly bear, a creature that doesn't need to chase to inspire fear. pauses by the riverbank, breath steaming in the cold air. The surface stills, then explodes. One swing of its claw-precise, explosive turns the water white. A single strike forged by millions of years of evolution. The grizzly is the living emblem of North America's wilderness. From Montana to Alaska, it reigns over forests and valleys. When the winter snow melts, they emerge from their dens after months of hibernation, half-starved but alive. Their hunt begins again, scavenging deer carcasses, digging for roots, stealing honey, and fishing salmon from icy streams. With a nose 7 times more sensitive than a bloodhound's, a grizzly can smell death from over 2 kilometers away, a biological radar built for survival. Beneath that thick fur and lumbering gait lies an engineered machine of strength, 4 arms so powerful they can overturn boulders. When it stands upright, a male can reach nearly 3 meters tall. Yet most of its life isn't spent killing. 80% of its diet is plant-based grass, roots, berries, ants, honey. The forest feeds the beast, and the beast keeps the forest alive. Power and gentleness coexist in a single heartbeat. Summer floods the Lamar River. Salmon surge upstream, silver flashes breaking the current. A grizzly waits in silence, its eyes fixed on the water. Then movement. A single strike sends spray flying like shards of glass. Beside her, 2 cubs watch every move, learning how to hunt and how to fail. Knowledge here isn't taught with words, it's inherited through instinct, through patience, through survival. As autumn arrives, the blueberry slopes of Alaska turn purple. The bears feast endlessly, 30,000 calories a day. Their bodies swell with fat, a fortress against the winter ahead. In hidden dens, they enter a deep sleep. Heartbeat slowing to 8 per minute, body temperature falling close to 30 degrees Celsius. Scientists still marvel at how these creatures avoid muscle loss and bone decay for months. A biological secret that might one day change human medicine. Then spring returns, and with it, violence. Two males face off on the open plain. Their roars echo through the valley, muscles rippling, dust rising. When they clash, the sound is thunder itself. A single swipe could shatter bone, yet most battles end without death. In the wild, true dominance means knowing when to stop. At dusk, a mother grizzly leads her cubs along a quiet stream. The water mirrors the fading Sunday. Each step is measured, calm, deliberate. Nature's way of teaching patience. Move slow, live long, strike only when needed. Night settles over Yellowstone. Mist gathers. Under the moonlight, the giant stands motionless, the wilderness made flesh, powerful, solitary, eternal. The grizzly's fatal swipe isn't just the strike of a hunter. It's nature's heartbeat, a reminder that survival itself is the purest form of strength. On a low rise along the Rio Grande Valley in New Mexico, a roadrunner flares the dark patch on its back to drink the first light, then launches on legs, not wings. X-shaped footprints stitch the sand. The menu runs to scorpions, centipedes, rattlesnakes. How does a small, ground-running bird rule a landscape built on venom, and what timing lets it slip past hollow fangs in a single breath? Dawn settles over North America's dry belt, the Sonoran Fringe, reaching toward the Rio Grande Valley and the edges of the Chihuahuan Desert. The chill of night lifts. A roadrunner stands on the sandy lip of a dry wash, flaring the dark patch on its back to drink the first light. A light breeze threads the creosote bushes. Insects murmur under mesquite. Short steps begin, the long tail working like a rudder, a neat line of X-shaped tracks stitched into the sand. It looks calm, but every crack in the gravel stirs with life. A whiptail lizard, a desert scorpion, a red centipede, even a rattlesnake warming beneath a sunlit rock. Here, morning is gold before the heat, and other hunters wake. Biologically, the roadrunner uses sunbathing as a charger. After nightfall, it lets body temperature drop a few degrees to save energy. The first light brings it back to operating speed without burning precious calories. Zygodactyl feet, 2 toes forward, Two backbite into loose ground, and those X tracks make pursuit harder by hiding direction. The light climbs, heat shimmer begins to curl over the stones. The roadrunner hunts by sea, burst, finish. The lizard flashes. The neck tucks for half a beat, then the bird snaps forward, the beak striking clean as a finger snap. A quick swallow, and it runs on. At the edge of an ocotillo clump, a scorpion lifts its tail through leaf litter. A flick of the eye. The bird changes angle to cut it off, drives the bill into the last segment where the sting sits, then slams the prey against the sand a few times to neutralize before swallowing. Along the thicket's rim, a dry rattle lights up. The snake is close. The roadrunner shortens stride, drops a shoulder, slides left as if testing a brake line. Between barbed chawla, it holds distance and waits for a scene. In hard numbers, a rattlesnake strike lasts under 1/10 of a second. Venom needs time to diffuse through tissue. The roadrunner's answer is to shrink contact time towards zero. Hit a vital point. Exit immediately. Give the toxin no window to work. By noon, the ground glows, wind combs sand into thin streamers. At the edge of a dry wash near the Gila River, a western diamondback shows itself, body coiled, head lifted. The rattle beats like dry rain. The roadrunner circles wide, tail flicking to stabilize, eyes pinned to the neck. It feints right, cuts across the left shoulder. The snake bites air. The bird pivots, makes a short hop, clamps the bill just behind the skull, and is gone before the coil can close. Sand sprays. The tail kicks like a spring, the body spins around a pinned foot. Third pass, fourth, each beat like a jump cut, approach, land, break contact. When the snake surges forward, the bird pops onto a low rock, turns 90 degrees, drops back to gravel and goes for the nape again. Slaps of hide on stone ring out. After several rounds, the snake's muscles lose tone, the black tongue withdraws. The bird lines the head for a clean swallow. If the snake is too large, it tears sections and ferries them to a thorny hide. Danger crosses the scene in a separate thread, soft footfalls of a coyote on the slope. The roadrunner hugs the chawla's shade, sprints, carves through a narrow slot, spine snag fur but slide off feathers. The threat fades, and the duel resumes. Field notes show that roadrunners sometimes work in pairs on a snake. One distracts. The other strikes the weak point, but most finishes are solo, built on speed, angle, and the habit of hit and clear. Physiology helps. A nictitating membrane flashes to guard the cornea from spines and flying grit. The long tail acts as a stabilizer, letting the bird change direction almost instantly without losing drive. Water is scarce, so most intake comes from prey. Salt glands near the nares crystallize the excess, keeping the balance right. The sun tilts honey-colored, heat drains from the ground. The rattlesnake lies still at the gravel's edge, beaten by timing and speed. The roadrunner shakes dust from its plumage and listens. The wind shifts. Far off, a low call from another bird on the rim of the Rio Grande marks a boundary. It picks the last scraps, slips across the open to safer thorn. With dusk going violet, the bird hops to a low perch to roost. Metabolism eases. Body temperature dips again to save tomorrow's fuel. Below, the mirage fades, but fresh X tracks remain on the sand like hurried questions. The desert passes no verdict, it sets terms. If, on some day, speed drags for half a beat and venom gains half a second to spread, does the balance tip or does perfect timing still keep the roadrunner on the safe side of the line?